I'd like to share with you today a special spot in Scripture, to me, Colossians 1, verses 13 to 14. And 12 years ago, when I feel that I was truly saved by the Lord, this spot in Scripture has been very special to me. If not, it has been my banner of sorts, been close to my heart. And so it says, He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of His beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. Now, to break this down, He, that is God Himself, has delivered. That word delivered, it paints a picture of if you were to be hurt, unable to get up, laying on the ground in harm's way, and you were delivered. You were dragged out of harm's way, pulled out of, picked up, and carried out of harm's way. So it paints that picture for us. If we are unable to get up, but He did it. So He has delivered us from the domain of darkness. Keyword, domain. Domain, that is the authority, the ruling, the influence. In fact, sometimes the outright control of darkness. Darkness, from the get-go and the very base of this, the meaning out of this verse, it is not your own definition of darkness. Darkness here, you must never leave the base definition of it in its meaning here. This is an unsaved place. This is a place of condemnation, of being separated from the Lord, that you are not with Him, right? You are in a state of needing deliverance, under the authority and rule of darkness. And so you are in a state of need for God Himself to save you. And so that is the root and the very first definition that we must take of darkness. Now, darkness, though, can have its influences then in more specific ways to you, more specified ways in your life. And it can play out in different ways, but that is the very basis of it that we must not forget. Now, you were in need, and He has done this. This is something that is past tense for you as you read this. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred. He took us in. He carried us to something else. And He has transferred us to the kingdom of His beloved Son. So it's from one authority and rule to another. And whose is it? His beloved Son. The kingdom that Jesus, the Son of God, has made. And the kingdom that He rules in. He is currently ruling and mediating on our behalf, wearing the sash that says King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He is our shepherd. He is our good and faithful brother that has done what? In whom, in Jesus, we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. The significance here. We have been brought to, we have been given a new identity, which is in the kingdom of Jesus. And in whom, in Jesus, we have redemption. We were needing deliverance. We were dead in sin. We were needing to be picked up and carried. We were thrown away, in a sense, spiritually, eternally, needing to be pulled out of the domain of darkness. Redeemed. It's like something was laying in the trash and picked back up, pulled out of the trash to be put to a repurposed use. Sitting in the trash, sitting in the dirt, needing to be cleaned and cleansed, washed. And that is the forgiveness of sins, of what Jesus does through his shedding of blood on the cross, through his bearing, his body bearing our sin for us. Granted us redemption, granted us to be transferred to his kingdom, granted us forgiveness of sins. He bore it upon himself. And now we are in his kingdom. Now, that is, again, my absolute favorite spot to come back to. Again, a banner that I have walked by. The key here is we are delivered. We are delivered. But the darkness still does try to pull at us. And from my own experience, the darkness still tries to gain influence. The important part is that we remember what our identity is, that we are now in his kingdom, that we are transferred, delivered, we have been redeemed, that we have forgiveness in him, that we can call that our identity, that we are his now. The key as well is to see the schemes of the domain of darkness. It is crafty. It is devising schemes to try to influence your life still. And we must look back at the darkness in an appropriate way. We must not look at the darkness in the sense of somehow longing for it again, to believe what it says. And so we must ask ourselves, where in your lives is that happening? That we're still, as we look back at the darkness, are we allowing it to play and influence our lives still? To lie to us, to allow us to believe that maybe this isn't our identity fully. To maybe even long for it again. Has maybe your love for this kingdom, the redemption that you have, gone cold? And are you maybe almost experiencing a nostalgia for the darkness? Maybe not the darkness outright, but something that it is trying to convince you is better and more effective than what Jesus has done for you. And so we look back at the darkness. For what reason? It is to learn, to see how the darkness has taught us, how it has shaped us, how it has our sinful nature in that darkness played out. And so where do we need to then correct that and follow the one that has redeemed and delivered and transferred us? He's given us new identity. And so what does that now mean? How does that play out in our lives? How do we walk more with him, with the identity that he has redeemed us, that he has forgiven our sin, that we are his now, that he has claimed us, that he has cleaned us and washed us. Oh, that we might see the schemes of the darkness and that we might live in our identity today, that might spur you on today. Again, this has been my banner. I have it on my wall, framed. I can never get away from this. This is a constant need of reminder for me. But it just overflows in my heart when I can sit in it and remind myself, oh, his beloved Son, what he's done. It brings me joy. It brings me peace. It brings me hope. And it brings me longing to see him face to face, confidently that one day I will see him face to face, the beloved Son, Jesus, who delivered me out of the darkness. He cleaned me up. He gave me new clothes. He's cleaning my heart. And he is there loving me, reshaping me, and I long to look at his face. I hope this blesses you. May the Lord bless you and keep you with this verse.